Cool, and we are live. So just give me a few minutes clip and then I'll begin because it's normally a bit of a delay.
Okay.
Awesome, if you just joined the webinar, just give it a couple of minutes. We're just waiting for everybody to jump online. Just enjoy some of the background music. Hey, if you just joined the webinar, just wait for a minute or so and we will get started. We'll just give it a couple minutes and we will begin.
Dr. G, how do I turn on my camera?
There should be an option there that if you look at the top.
It says live.
Camera was on.
Pressing all kinds
Yeah, it's on.
Woohoo!
Okay. Cliff, I'm going to give it a couple minutes. My phone's going off. People say, are we logging on? Are we jumping on now? So just give it a couple minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Cliff, we've got people on from Namibia. We've got people from Port Elizabeth, people from Johannesburg. Now I think a couple of people from Durban, maybe even a couple of people all over Africa as well. And I think we even have a couple in Europe as well.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I'll begin in 5. Yeah, still more people jumping on. Hello and welcome. If you've just joined the call, please just hold up for a couple minutes. We still have a lot of people joining on the call. So yeah, please just hang on. Yes. So Cliff, we've got people in Dubai and Toronto as well.
Very cool. Man, technology has changed the game so much from when I was an entrepreneur in 1996. And basically your market was just people in your area. Now everybody's got a worldwide market. And if you're not taking advantage of technology like this, you're falling behind. And this is not even like new technology. I mean, this is like technology that's been out for years and people haven't embraced it yet. Do you guys see me driving?
Yeah, we can see you driving. Well, I'm going to begin. So for those of you who have just joined the webinar, the guy that is driving the car is the man, the myth, the legend, Cliff Braun. Now, for those of you who don't know, my name is Braden Boswell, and I was introduced to this industry about 4 years ago. At the time, I was 22. I was doing a double major in business and psychology, and I thought that a degree was going to get me everything I ever wanted. And I just realized while studying, I wasn't really getting to where I wanted to get to. And one night while I was bartending and DJing, I met this American guy, and he said to me, I can show you how to recruit and train a sales team and make a lot of money and basically live a life that you want to live. And I was a bit like, yeah, all right, whatever. And a few months went by, and I realized that I was still stuck in the same place. And I gave this guy a call and I said, please, can you show me what you do again? please can I take a listen? And he said to me, well, you know, what happens on a Sunday night? So him and I went out and we chatted about a few things. And one of the biggest things that he said to me was, you know, I see potential in you that you don't see in yourself. And sometimes that's what it takes in your life, you know, to make a big change. Is you might not believe in yourself, but somebody sees something inside of you and basically awakens that. And that's what happened to me. And so myself and Cliff, you know, myself and this American guy ended up creating a team of about 3,500 people in about 17 different countries around the world. And we lived like rock stars. You know, we were like the white versions of Kanye West. And, you know, we've built a very, very good friendship as well. But just to give you a little bit of background on this guy, Cliff basically at 19 years old was a petrol pump attendant. And by 26, he'd made about 10 million US dollars. He was living next door to Britney Spears, partying with Mike Tyson and P. Diddy. And even though he's made all this money, he's one of the most genuine, one of the most generous, and one of the most humble people that I think I've ever met. And he's been a really good friend to me. And I hate the word mentor, but he's been that as well. He's been a very good example of how to build a business and, you know, how to become a better person. So, Cliff, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Oh, very cool. Thanks, Graydon. And it's exciting to be on this call. I haven't talked to you guys in a while, and I've just kind of been excited looking at flights, you know, just the whole idea of coming back to South Africa. And, you know, it's been like, God, it feels like it's been a year. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how long it's been, but I'm super excited to come back and to visit you guys. And I don't know exactly who we have on this webinar right now, but hopefully it's being recorded because I am so happy I could eat a banana sideways. I remember when I was 19 years old and I met a Chinese guy who was making $1 million a month in real estate. And he basically told me that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And that if you don't start your own business, you're going to fall behind. And we were just having dinner last night, actually lunch yesterday with my mom, me and Sarah. And the waitress just looked beat up, tired, worn out. You could see the pain in her eyes. And you can see that like the middle class here in America is dropping. And the people working at Starbucks and the people working at restaurants, they used to own Mercedes and they used to have a business. And it's crazy how the rich people are just getting super rich and the poor and the middle class are just getting lower. And that's never, you know, my whole life here in America, I've never seen that before until just recently. But it's true all over the world that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And that scares the heck out of me to think that there's so many people right now that are just kind of like falling behind. And so I think if you're like me, we all want to, you know, get ahead in life. We all want to have more money and more free time. And, you know, nobody wants to suffer. Nobody wants to be broke. Nobody wants to sit at home and cook crappy food that they don't want because they can't afford to go to a restaurant. And so I believe that today in 2016, more than ever before, people need to become entrepreneurs. And it doesn't matter what you do. It just matters that you do something. You know, so many people are sitting around complaining, crying, waiting, hoping, wishing. None of that works. If that worked, the whole world would be rich. And so nothing's going to change until you change and decide to do something different than what everybody else is doing. And so at 19 years old, I became an entrepreneur. I got involved in sales and marketing. I went from making $5 an hour at a gas station to making $5,000 a week. And by 21, I was making like $3,000 to $4,000 a day. Then we opened up an internet company that did $68 million in sales in the first 18 months. You know, I've sold music, books, travel, all kinds of things over the internet. Right now, one of the things that's trending that's really popular is skincare. It's a $300 billion a year industry, projected to be the next $1 trillion industry. And it's something that everybody needs. You see, the secret to internet marketing is if you're going to go out there and spend your time, effort, energy, money getting customers, you want to get people onto a product that they're going to use month after month after month. And so the great thing about skincare is if somebody has any kind of skin problem, they use the skincare, their skin clears up, they look younger, they feel younger, whatever it is, then the retention rate is very high. It's something like 80%. And so we've got an incredible product. I mean, if you want to make money, you got to sell a product. So that's the first thing. Okay, so internet marketing, whatever it is you're doing, you got to sell something, all right? If you have a job, They'll always pay you just enough to where you make a living, but you'll never make a fortune. You always make enough to get by, but you never make enough to get ahead. And so the first mental obstacle that you have to overcome is that you have to take charge of your financial future. You can't sit around and wait for a boss to pay you more. You can't sit around and wait for someone to die and will you money. Okay. The first obstacle is you got to realize that you're in control. Okay. Second obstacle is you got to get involved in something that's sales and marketing. It doesn't matter if it's insurance or cars or real estate or cosmetics. It doesn't matter what it is. But the first lesson I learned from this Chinese guy from Hong Kong who was making $1 million a month as a real estate developer is that profits are better than wages. He said, wages will make you a living, but profits can make you a fortune. He said, wages are fine, but profits are super fine. And so I have recently hooked up with an amazing company. Their doctor's office is right here around the corner in Beverly Hills. And what they have is a very unique product that nobody else out there has. Okay. I'm going to give you an hour presentation on skincare in 3 minutes, because as an entrepreneur, you've got to understand a little bit about different industries, but you don't have to be an expert in that industry. I'm not a skincare doctor, but I know enough about it to explain it to other people. And here's what it is. Before 2009, everybody was using plant stem cell technology, which was okay, you know, from apples and seaweed and whatever. And if you take stem cells from plants and you put it in a laboratory, the stem cells will produce about 8 to 10 growth factors. Well, if you cut your arm and your arm heals, growth factors is what's healing your skin, okay? And so if you take plant cells from people, put that in a laboratory, it'll produce 245 growth factors. And so all these people are walking into malls at Cavendish or Tiger Valley or wherever you are in South Africa or Dubai or anywhere all over the world, and they're purchasing crazy expensive, overpriced skincare. And it's really just a cream that's like a moisturizer that smells good. It's a fact that the number one thing that people pick their skincare by is smell. And so they're making this really beautiful smelling, super expensive moisturizer, because when you put that skincare on, you've only got 8 to 10 growth factors repairing your skin. Well, 2009 and later, all of a sudden, human stem cell research becomes legal. So now what we're doing is we're using growth factors that are coming from human stem cells. You know, when people get liposuction, it's that, you know, we're not killing babies or doing anything weird. It's so funny how, like, when human stem cell research became legal, all these religious groups and all these people freaked out because of this one sheep named Dolly. And they were cloning sheep and cloning cats, and people freaked out and said, we're playing God. All we're doing, okay, I went skydiving in South Africa. I landed really hard and I broke my ankle in 3 places. And I mean, I broke it bad. And if you look at my ankle today, it's all black and blue and bruised still to this day, 4 years later. And I'm in pain 24/7. It doesn't bend completely. It's never really healed properly. And the doctors, this is what they told me. This happened 4 years ago. They said, you're screwed because we can't fix cartilage. It's damaged forever. You know, there's nothing we can do about it. Well, literally, just within the past 2 years, okay, there's a doctor in Beverly Hills that says, you know what we can do is we can do a stem cell procedure. We can inject your ankle with stem cells. And what it's going to do is it's going to communicate, because they're human stem cells. It's going to communicate with the stem cells, and it's going to grow new cartilage. And we can probably reduce the inflammation by 50%. We can probably get rid of at least 50% or more of the pain, and you'll probably regain 40 to 50% of the movement in your ankle. And that's all because of stem cell technology, human stem cell. Medicine completely is moving in the direction of human stem cells, because it's actually like your body telling itself to fix itself. It's probably the biggest breakthrough in medical science in the past 100 years is this human stem cell technology. And so what happens is when you're using any of our products, you've got like 245 growth factors, 245 little soldiers repairing your skin. I'm 39 years old, and I like to think, you know, I look about 29, and my girlfriend says I act about 12. But it's crazy that when I look at a lot of my friends on Facebook that graduated high school the same year as me, 1995, and I look at them and I look at me, and I've been using the Jeunesse skincare products now every single day for almost a year. And without a doubt, I mean, have you ever been driving and you just kind of like, feel your skin for whatever reason like this? And I'll be like, oh, it's baby soft. I mean, I wouldn't last in prison, I'll tell you. And so you guys start using this skincare every day, you're going to feel a dramatic difference, whether you have acne or premature aging or liver spots or crow's feet or whatever it is. Okay. People are seeing results with the Jeunesse skincare products that they've never seen before with any other product. I mean, the product isn't like twice as good as other products. It's like 20 times as good as other products. 245 growth factors versus 8 to 10 growth factors, and our products are cheaper. And so it's better, it's cheaper, and it's clinically proven. And so think about all the friends that you have on Facebook. If you've got, let's say, 500 friends on Facebook, do you know 2 people that want to have better skin? Maybe it's preventative. Maybe they're using the day cream so they don't get cancer. Maybe they've got an existing skin problem and they want to treat that. And so whenever I look at a business and I'm trying to decide if I want to get involved, I think about it. Is it a product that I would like to talk about all day? And when I think about skincare and I think about like how, especially for me, I lived in Colombia for the past 3 years. I lived in Africa for 3 years, and I had a little kind of like a mole on my back, and I went to the doctor and I was like, what the heck is this? And she goes, it's a tumor. And I've never been more scared in my life than when that doctor said it's a tumor. And then I just looked at her and I didn't even have words. And she goes, but it's not cancerous. She goes, but it is caused by the sun. And she goes, you're American, the sun in Africa and the sun in Colombia, it's a different deal. She said, you've got to use skincare every single day. 1 out of 3 people now are getting cancer. So if you're on this webinar and you're thinking, man, I'm young, I don't care about looking younger, I don't have liver spots, I don't have wrinkles. It's crazy. Here's proof. Look at the top of your arm and then look at the bottom of your arm and look at the difference in skin. Sun damage, no sun damage. Sun damage, no sun damage. It's the easiest way in the world to prove to people that they need to be putting on skincare every single day. You've heard the old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And it's absolutely true. So I like the fact that we're marketing a product that everybody needs. You've only got one set of skin. I mean, it's not like you can go replace it, okay? And so you want to take care of it. And so whether it's preventative or whether you want to fix an existing problem, it's something that's relevant to everybody's life out there, okay? And so if you've got 500 friends on Facebook, here's how our business works. You just have to find 2 people that want the product, and those 2 people try it and they love it, and they tell 2 people that tell 2 people. And so I started almost a year ago today, and I personally brought 17 people into the business. They loved the products and they told people that told people. I've got 114,000 active customers within my organization today, and I make a lot of money, and that's wonderful. But I think bigger than the fact that I make a lot of money is I'm actually making a difference in people's lives. And when I meet people on a day-to-day basis that are struggling with, their skin or their life or their finances, I have an opportunity that I can offer them that will change their life. And, if I was a doctor, or if I was a NBA basketball player, or if I was a fill in the blank with whatever, a lot of people are successful, but they don't really have the ability to directly help other people on a day-to-day basis. And I think what I like most about this business, Sarah and I yesterday were at Starbucks, which is like your Vita Cafe. And there was a kid there who was about 25 years old. And you could tell he didn't have a lot of friends. You could tell that, maybe he was a little bit off or possibly a little bit slow. I mean, he was different. Okay. But he was just a really good guy. And he absolutely reminded me of myself when I was in high school. Now, he was 25, but he reminded me of myself when I was in high school, where the entire world seemed big and scary, and I felt different and out of place. And I remember really being afraid. And so I meet this guy, and he's like, man, that Audi R8's incredible. Is that yours? The paint job? And, we start talking. I was like, no, it's a wrap. It looks purple, but the car is actually gray underneath. And, we started talking about cars. And my heart just went out to this guy, this young man, because I could tell that he was sitting at Starbucks because he's got nowhere else to go. He doesn't have any friends to hang out with. Probably his home life isn't the greatest. And I asked him, I said, what is your life plan? What's next for you? And he said, to be honest, I'm really not sure. I'm, going to go back to school and, I don't know. And you could see he was afraid and nervous for the future. And so I said, you know what? Why don't you take down my Facebook? I said, I've got a business I'd like to talk to you about. I could use some help. And, maybe we could help each other. And his face lit up like a Christmas tree. And Sarah and I got into the car and we were driving home. And I said to Sarah, I said, this is the part of the business I like the most, to be able to directly kind of like put your hand out and help people that don't have anybody like that in their life. I think everybody needs a big brother or a mentor, and everybody needs a little help at different points in their life. And I think the coolest part about this business is being able to mentor and help people get through those rough patches. And the exciting part is, if you look at the way our business model works, if you use skincare and you love it, and you tell two people and they tell two people and they tell two people, and it grows like Facebook or Instagram, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024. If you got 1,000 people on your team purchasing one product a month, that's about a $10,000 a month residual check. Now, I was able to accomplish that in my first week in Jeunesse. Not everybody works as hard as I do. I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I usually go to bed about 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't party. Pretty much all I do is read books on personal development, how to be a better person. I read books on forgiveness. I read books on, just really anything. I just want to grow and develop as a person. And I want to always be learning, teaching, or growing. And I believe that this business is hyper life, where we can really make an impact, change the world, do incredible things. And you guys are working with one of the coolest people I've ever met in my entire life, Graydon Boswell. I've been to 37 countries. I was just counting all the stamps in my passport. And I've met a lot of great people in a lot of different countries. But I'll tell you, Graydon is a person who is less of a businessman and more of a spiritual person. And I believe that the best business people in the world are people that are actually really spiritual. Because if you don't give a shit about other people, you're never going to be super successful. And if you are, then you're going to end up looking twice your age, always having to look over your shoulder, probably having heart problems. They say your liver detoxes through your face. And I think that's true not only for the foods you eat and alcohol and drugs and cigarettes, but I think it's also true for negative emotions like regret. And I think when you look at people and they're in their 30s or 40s or in their 50s, you can see if they've been living the good life based on their skin. You can see that they have all this pain and regret and sorrow. You can see it in their, not just in their eyes, but you can see it in their skin. And so I think for me, one thing I'm really super proud of is I'm 39 years old. I'm almost 40. And I feel and look amazing. And it's because I take care of myself and I eat good foods and I use the skincare and I love this company. I love the products. And I don't want to say I'm in love with Graydon Boswell because that would sound weird. But I love Graydon Boswell and I love all of you guys. And I look forward to meeting you in person. And here's my final message to everybody is whether you do Jeunesse or not, do something. Do something with your life. Because one thing we're developing every single day, whether we know it or not, is our own personal brand and our reputation. And here's the thing. People are going to talk about you. And what do you want people to say? I'm super proud that people are like, man, Cliff's out there doing something with his life, making a difference on it, every single day. And I think this is a great way for you to cut your teeth on entrepreneurship, work with some really super successful people. It took Apple 8 years to do $1 billion in sales, and we did it in 6 years. So if anybody ever makes fun of you or what you're doing or our program, it's like we're growing faster than Apple. And so you can make fun of it, but we're laughing our way to the bank. We've got the best skincare products in the world, and we've got the most amazing opportunity on the planet. And if you want to learn more about this, get back with the person that told you about it. And I look forward to meeting you in person. Get my book, Social Marketing. I have to laugh when I say that because it's so funny whenever you see like an infomercial or a seminar, and they're always like, buy my book. And now here I am, one of those guys. But just remember, I was a college dropout. I used to work at a gas station. and I got involved in sales and marketing at 19 years old, and I made a fortune. And if I did it, you can do it. And I will see you guys in person soon. So, Dr. Boswell, Graydon's not an actual doctor, and neither am I, but we like to call each other doctor because it sounds cool. When I'm in the elevator and I call him, I'm like, doctor, doctor. People look at me and they're like, he's a doctor. So, Graydon, I'm going to hand the call back over to you. Again, my life advice to everybody is do something with your life. You know, it's like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? You know, I saw this great post on Facebook. It said, WTF are you doing with your life? And it blows me away that so many people are just doing what everybody else does because everybody else is doing it. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my entire life, because people are like sheep. They're like, I call them sheeple, because they're all just doing the same thing. And the fact of the matter is 95% of people, by the time they're 65, are going to be struggling financially, broke, or dead. 95% of people all over the world by 65 are effed. I mean, they're totally screwed. And so if you do what everybody else does because you want to avoid criticism and you just want to go with the flow and do what everybody else does, you're killing yourself. You're actually committing spiritual and emotional suicide by going with the flow, because by 65 years old, the statistics show that you're absolutely screwed. And so if you want to be successful, if you want to be different, you want to make a lot of money, it's going to take a lot of energy. And you're going to get that energy from when you know what is right and what you want and what you do are all in alignment, you have massive amounts of energy. They say if you're inspired, you're never tired. The reason why people are miserable and drinking coffee all day and smoking cigarettes is because they're not happy with their life. And so don't bullshit yourself. Don't go out drinking every single weekend. Really, people say, oh yeah, I'm going to go party. Bullshit. You're escaping reality. That's what you're doing. Now, I like to have a drink too, don't get me wrong, but going out drinking every week with your friends at the same places, that's not life. That's not growing and developing. And so, you know, the only person you have to really be honest with here today is yourself. Are you completely fulfilled and satisfied with your life? And if not, do something. And I say Jeunesse is a great opportunity. And it's a great way to bring the family together, for the college students to work with the parents and for you to work with your brother or sister. And, you know, it's a great opportunity. And thanks for listening to me. I get excited and then I start to talk too long and I'm like, you know, this is just supposed to be a short little webinar and it's turning into a seminar, but at least, you know, I love what I do and I love you guys and I look forward to meeting you all soon in person. I hand it back over to you. Jeunesse, amazing skincare, an amazing opportunity, and you get to work with some really incredible people that actually care about you. And they say nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think you can tell that we're going to give you 110% here with this business.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cliff.
Woohoo! Sarah.
Well, Cliff, thank you so much for being on the call. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for showing off your R8 as well. But really appreciate you being on the call, and I will see you on the next webinar. But to everybody who has been on the call, you know, you're probably sitting there, you've got some questions. Now, feel free to get in touch with me, you know, speak to the person who got you onto this webinar and ask them to send you more information. And, you know, when you get involved in this, what's really, really cool is, you know, you get access to myself, you get access to Cliff, you get access to people who actually want to help you succeed. And so feel free to add me on Facebook, add me on WhatsApp. I know some of you guys are overseas. Ask your friends who invited you to this call to send you a couple of videos so you can get the bigger picture. But with that being said, thank you very much for being on the webinar tonight. I hope you guys have a flippin' awesome day if you're on the other side of the time zone, and a very good evening for those of you in South Africa and on our timeline. So have a good night and we'll chat soon. Bye-bye.